This is Mental Forge, where weakness burns and warriors are built. Picture this. It's 3 in the morning and you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Your mind is racing with doubts, fears, and what-ifs. Tomorrow brings another challenge, another opportunity to either rise or fall. And right now, in this moment of darkness, you feel completely unprepared. Your inner voice whispers words of defeat, telling you that you're not strong enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough to achieve the dreams that burn within your heart. But what if I told you that in just 14 days, you could completely transform that inner dialogue? What if those 3 a.m. moments of doubt could become 3 a.m. moments of unshakable confidence and clarity? What if the very challenges that once paralyzed you with fear could become the stepping stones to your greatest victories? Today, we're embarking on a journey that will fundamentally rewire your mental operating system. We're going to build what I call bulletproof mental toughness, a kind of inner strength that doesn't just help you survive life's storms, but allows you to dance in the rain and emerge stronger from every battle. This isn't about becoming emotionally numb or developing a thick skin that blocks out the world. This is about cultivating a deep, unshakable core strength that transforms how you see yourself, how you approach challenges, and ultimately, how you create the life of your dreams. The ancient Stoics had a phrase, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Over the next 14 days, we're going to embody this philosophy so deeply that obstacles become opportunities, setbacks become setups for comebacks, and your greatest fears become the very fuel for your most extraordinary achievements. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with or without. It's a skill, a muscle that can be developed, strengthened, and refined through specific practices and mindset shifts. The most successful people in history, from business titans to spiritual leaders, from athletes to artists, all share one common trait. They developed the ability to maintain unwavering focus and determination in the face of adversity. They learned to trust themselves completely, to make decisions quickly and confidently, and to persist when everyone else would quit. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, whose teachers told him he was too dumb to learn anything. When he was working on the incandescent light bulb, he failed over 1,000 times. A reporter once asked him how it felt to fail so many times. Edison replied, "I haven't failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that don't work." This wasn't just positive thinking or naive optimism. This was mental toughness in its purest form, the ability to reframe failure as feedback, to see setbacks as data, and to maintain absolute certainty in your ultimate success, regardless of temporary circumstances. But Edison's mental toughness wasn't built overnight. It was forged through deliberate practice, through consciously choosing empowering thoughts over defeating ones, through developing what we now understand from neuroscience as new neural pathways that support resilience, creativity, and unstoppable determination. The same process that transformed Edison from a slow learner into one of history's greatest inventors is available to you right now, in this moment, through the 14-day transformation we're about to undertake together. Mental toughness is built on 4 foundational pillars, and over the next 2 weeks, we'll construct each pillar with the precision of a master architect building a cathedral. The first pillar is unwavering self-belief, not the kind of shallow confidence that crumbles at the first sign of difficulty, but the deep, cellular knowing that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. The second pillar is emotional mastery, the ability to feel your emotions fully while never being controlled by them. The third pillar is laser-focused clarity, knowing exactly what you want and why you want it with such precision that distractions become impossible. The fourth pillar is relentless persistence, the commitment to continue moving forward even when the path seems impossible. Each of these pillars is reinforced by specific daily practices that work on multiple levels: psychological, neurological, and spiritual. We're not just changing how you think, we're literally rewiring your brain, shifting your energy, and aligning your entire being with the reality of your dreams. When someone asks you to subscribe to our channel because they found value in this content, they're not just hitting a button, they're making a commitment to their own growth, joining a community of individuals dedicated to becoming the strongest, most resilient versions of themselves. Let's begin with day 1 of your transformation. Today, we establish what I call your mental toughness foundation. This isn't about jumping into extreme challenges or pushing yourself beyond reasonable limits. This is about creating the bedrock upon which everything else will be built. Your first practice is the identity declaration. Upon waking, before you check your phone, before you interact with anyone else, you're going to spend 5 minutes declaring who you are becoming. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself directly in the eyes, and speak these words with absolute conviction. I am mentally tough. I am emotionally resilient. I face challenges with courage and creativity. I trust myself completely. I make decisions quickly and confidently. I persist until I succeed. Every obstacle strengthens me. Every setback sets me up for a comeback. I am becoming unstoppable. Don't just say these words. Feel them resonating in your chest, your bones, your very DNA. This practice is based on the neuroplasticity principle that your brain literally reshapes itself based on repeated thoughts and experiences. When you declare these truths about yourself with emotional intensity, you're creating new neural pathways that support these qualities. You're programming your subconscious mind to seek evidence of your mental toughness rather than evidence of your limitations. The second practice for day 1 is called environmental mastery. Throughout the day, you're going to make one small decision that demonstrates your commitment to mental toughness. This could be making your bed with military precision, choosing water over soda, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, or completing a task you've been avoiding. The key is that this decision should feel slightly uncomfortable, not overwhelming, but definitely outside your usual comfort zone. Why does this matter? Because mental toughness is built through accumulated small victories. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, action over procrastination, courage over fear, you're depositing strength into your mental toughness account. These small deposits compound over time, creating an unshakable foundation of self-trust and personal power. Your third practice for day 1 is the evening reflection. Before sleep, spend 10 minutes writing in a journal about 3 specific moments during the day when you demonstrated mental toughness, even in small ways. This could be staying calm in traffic, speaking up in a meeting, or simply choosing not to engage in negative self-talk. The brain remembers what we focus on, so by actively seeking examples of your growing strength, you're training your mind to notice and build upon these qualities. Day 2 takes us deeper into the realm of fear transformation. Fear is not your enemy, it's raw energy that, when properly channeled, becomes the fuel for extraordinary achievement. Today's practice is called fear alchemy, and it's based on the understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. Begin day 2 by identifying your 3 biggest fears related to achieving your dreams. Write them down without censoring yourself. Maybe you're afraid of failure, rejection, success, judgment, or not being good enough. Whatever they are, name them clearly. Now, for each fear, you're going to write 3 ways that this fear could actually serve you. For example, fear of failure could motivate you to prepare more thoroughly. Fear of rejection could push you to develop thicker skin and better communication skills. Fear of success could drive you to develop the character needed to handle greater responsibility. This reframing process is crucial because it transforms fear from a paralyzing force into a mobilizing one. When you see fear as guidance rather than limitation, as information rather than intimidation, you begin to develop what Navy SEALs call comfortable being uncomfortable. You start to understand that the presence of fear often indicates you're moving in the right direction, toward growth, expansion, and breakthrough. Throughout day 2, every time you feel afraid or anxious about something, pause and ask yourself, how is this fear trying to serve me? What is it asking me to develop? What strength is it calling forth from within me? This single question can transform your entire relationship with fear, turning it from your greatest enemy into your most valuable ally. The evening practice for day 2 involves what I call courage visualization. Lie down comfortably, close your eyes, and imagine yourself 1 year from now, having developed complete mental toughness. See yourself handling challenges with grace and confidence. Notice how you stand, how you speak, how you make decisions. Feel the deep peace that comes from knowing you can handle anything life brings your way. This isn't fantasy. You're programming your subconscious mind with the blueprint of the person you're becoming. Day 3 introduces the concept of cognitive sovereignty, taking complete ownership of your thoughts and mental reactions. Most people live as prisoners of their own thinking, unconsciously accepting whatever thoughts arise without questioning their validity or usefulness. Today, you become the CEO of your own mind. The morning practice for day 3 is thought auditing. Throughout the day, notice your thoughts without judgment, but with curiosity. Carry a small notebook or use your phone to track patterns in your thinking. Are your thoughts generally supportive or critical? Do they focus on possibilities or limitations? Are they rooted in fear or love, scarcity or abundance? This isn't about forcing positive thoughts or suppressing negative ones. It's about developing awareness, because you cannot change what you're not conscious of. Many people go through their entire lives never realizing that they have the power to choose their thoughts, to question their mental habits, and to consciously cultivate thinking patterns that serve their highest good. During the day, practice what I call the 21-second rule. When you notice a negative, limiting, or fearful thought, don't fight it or judge it. Simply observe it with curiosity, then consciously choose a more empowering thought. Hold this new thought for 21 seconds while taking deep breaths. Neuroscience shows us that it takes approximately 21 seconds for new neural pathways to begin forming, so you're literally rewiring your brain in real time. The historical figure who mastered this principle better than perhaps anyone was Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled during one of the most challenging periods in Roman history. Despite facing plagues, wars, and constant political pressure, Marcus Aurelius maintained extraordinary mental toughness by taking complete ownership of his thoughts and reactions. In his personal journal, which became known as Meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus Aurelius understood that while he couldn't control external circumstances, he had absolute sovereignty over his internal responses. He practiced daily mental exercises, constantly reminding himself that his thoughts were choices, not facts. He developed the ability to see obstacles as opportunities for growth, setbacks as chances to demonstrate virtue, and challenges as invitations to become stronger. This same principle applies to your journey. You might not be ruling an empire, but you are ruling the empire of your own consciousness, and that's the most important kingdom you'll ever govern. Every thought you choose, every mental habit you develop, every internal response you cultivate is shaping the person you're becoming and the life you're creating. Day 4 focuses on what I call emotional alchemy, the advanced skill of transmuting negative emotions into positive energy and motivation. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending to feel good when you don't. It means developing the sophisticated ability to feel your emotions fully, while simultaneously extracting their wisdom and power. Begin day 4 by understanding that emotions are energy in motion, and like all energy, they can be channeled and directed. Anger can become passion for positive change. Sadness can become deep compassion. Fear can become heightened awareness and preparation. Frustration can become unstoppable determination. The key is learning to work with your emotions rather than being worked over by them. The morning practice involves creating what I call an emotional GPS. Write down the 5 emotions you experience most frequently, whether positive or negative. For each emotion, identify its message. What is anger telling you? What is fear warning you about? What is excitement pointing you toward? When you understand emotions as information rather than commands, you develop emotional intelligence and resilience. Throughout day 4, practice the stop technique whenever you feel overwhelmed by emotion. Stop what you're doing, take a deep breath, observe what you're feeling without judgment, and proceed with conscious choice rather than reactive habit. This simple 4-step process creates space between stimulus and response, giving you the power to choose your reaction rather than being controlled by automatic patterns. Consider the story of Helen Keller, who lost both sight and hearing before her 2nd birthday. By all accounts, she should have been limited by these circumstances, perhaps living a life of dependency and limitation. Instead, she became one of the most inspiring figures in human history, the first deafblind person to earn a bachelor's degree, a renowned author, political activist, and lecturer who traveled to 39 countries spreading messages of hope and possibility. How did Helen Keller develop such extraordinary mental toughness in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles? She learned to transform what most would consider devastating limitations into sources of unique strength and perspective. She wrote, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved." Helen Keller understood that mental toughness isn't developed despite challenges. It's developed because of them. She learned to see her disabilities, not as limitations, but as invitations to develop extraordinary inner strength, creativity, and determination. She transformed what could have been bitter victimhood into powerful advocacy, inspiring millions of people to overcome their own perceived limitations. This perspective is available to you right now. Whatever challenges you're facing, whatever limitations you think you have, whatever obstacles seem to block your path, these are not punishments or evidence of your inadequacy. They are the very experiences that will forge your mental toughness, develop your character, and prepare you for the extraordinary life that awaits you. Day 5 introduces the powerful concept of purpose-driven persistence. Many people give up not because their dreams are impossible, but because their why isn't strong enough to sustain them through inevitable difficulties. Today, we're going to connect you with a purpose so compelling that quitting becomes impossible. Start day 5 by answering this question in writing. What would I attempt if I knew I absolutely could not fail? Don't censor your answer or worry about how realistic it seems. Your dreams exist within you for a reason. They are not random or accidental. They are calling you toward your highest potential, your greatest contribution, your most authentic self. Now write your answer to this question. Who would I become in the process of achieving this dream? This is crucial because the person you become in pursuit of your dreams is often more valuable than the dreams themselves. The courage you develop, the skills you acquire, the character you build, the resilience you forge, these internal treasures can never be taken away from you. Next, identify the deeper purpose behind your dreams. Why do you want what you want? How will achieving your goals serve not just you, but others? What positive impact will your success have on your family, your community, the world? When your personal ambitions align with service to something greater than yourself, you tap into an unlimited source of motivation and energy. Throughout day 5, whenever you feel tempted to quit, procrastinate, or settle for less than your best, reconnect with this deeper purpose. Remind yourself not just of what you want to achieve, but of who you want to become and whom you want to serve. This connection to purpose transforms temporary motivation into permanent dedication. The evening practice for day 5 involves writing a letter from your future self, the person you'll be 5 years from now after developing complete mental toughness and achieving your most important goals. Write about the journey, the challenges you overcame, the strength you developed, and most importantly, the gratitude you feel for the person you are today who had the courage to begin this transformation. Day 6 deepens your understanding of what I call strategic thinking for mental toughness. Most people react to life as it happens to them. Mentally tough individuals learn to anticipate, prepare, and respond strategically rather than emotionally. Today, you become a strategic thinker. Begin day 6 by identifying the 3 biggest challenges you're likely to face in the next 90 days. These could be related to your career, relationships, health, finances, or personal growth. For each challenge, develop what I call a strategic response plan. This involves 3 components: prevention strategies to minimize the likelihood of the challenge occurring, preparation strategies to be ready if it does occur, and response strategies for how you'll handle it with grace and strength. This isn't pessimistic thinking, it's strategic preparation. Navy SEALs have a saying, proper planning prevents poor performance. When you've thought through potential challenges and developed response strategies in advance, you transform from being a victim of circumstances into being a strategic player in the game of life. Throughout day 6, practice strategic decision-making. Before making any significant choice, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. What are the potential consequences of this decision in the next week, next month, and next year? How does this decision align with my values and long-term goals? What would the mentally tough version of myself do in this situation? These questions activate what neuroscientists call the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control. When you consistently engage this higher brain function, you develop the ability to make decisions based on long-term vision rather than short-term impulse, on wisdom rather than emotion, on strategy rather than reaction. The story of Abraham Lincoln perfectly illustrates strategic thinking combined with mental toughness. Lincoln faced more rejection and failure than perhaps any other president in American history. He lost his job, was defeated for state legislature, failed in business, suffered a nervous breakdown, was defeated for speaker, defeated for nomination to Congress, rejected for land officer, defeated for Senate, and defeated for nomination to vice president. Yet Lincoln developed such extraordinary mental toughness and strategic thinking that he not only became president, but led the nation through its greatest crisis. How did he do it? Lincoln understood that every failure was preparation for future success, every rejection was redirection toward his ultimate purpose, and every setback was set up for an even greater comeback. Lincoln wrote, "I am naturally inclined to melancholy, but I have learned that a man's happiness depends upon his own actions, and not upon external circumstances." He developed the strategic ability to separate temporary circumstances from ultimate destiny, immediate feedback from long-term vision, external events from internal response. This same strategic mindset is available to you. Whatever challenges you're facing, whatever rejections you've experienced, whatever failures you've endured, these are not evidence of your limitations. They are strategic preparation for the extraordinary success that awaits you, if you develop the mental toughness to persist with purpose and the strategic thinking to learn from every experience. Day 7 marks the midpoint of your transformation and focuses on building what I call unshakable self-trust. Mental toughness ultimately comes down to trusting yourself completely, trusting your ability to handle whatever comes, to learn from every experience, to find a way forward no matter what obstacles appear. Begin day 7 by reflecting on your life experiences and identifying 10 times when you demonstrated more strength, resilience, or capability than you initially thought possible. These don't have to be dramatic moments. They could be times when you learned a difficult skill, overcame a fear, recovered from disappointment, or supported someone else through a challenging time. Write these examples down and really absorb their significance. You have already demonstrated mental toughness countless times in your life. You have already proven your ability to grow, adapt, overcome, and thrive. Today's practice is about recognizing this pattern of strength and building upon it consciously. The afternoon practice involves what I call trust-building challenges. Choose 3 small commitments you can make to yourself today and follow through on them completely. These should be simple but specific. Perhaps meditating for 10 minutes, drinking 8 glasses of water, or writing in your journal before bed. The key is choosing challenges that stretch you slightly but are definitely achievable. Why is this so important? Because self-trust is built through kept commitments. Every time you do what you say you're going to do, especially when you don't feel like it, you make a deposit in your self-trust account. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you prove to yourself that you are reliable, capable, and worthy of your own confidence. Throughout day 7, practice internal validation. Instead of seeking approval, confirmation, or reassurance from others, check in with yourself. Ask, am I proud of how I'm handling this situation? Am I acting in alignment with my values? Am I being true to my authentic self? When you develop the ability to validate yourself, you become truly free from the opinions and judgments of others. This internal validation is crucial for mental toughness because the most challenging moments in life are often when external support is unavailable. When you're facing your biggest challenges, pursuing your most ambitious goals, or standing up for what you believe in, you might find yourself standing alone. In those moments, your self-trust becomes your greatest asset. Consider the remarkable story of Malala Yousafzai, who demonstrated extraordinary mental toughness as a teenager fighting for girls' education in Pakistan. Despite facing death threats from the Taliban, despite being shot and nearly killed, despite pressure from many sides to remain quiet and safe, Malala never wavered in her commitment to her cause. Where did such a young person find such extraordinary mental toughness? Malala developed unshakable self-trust, rooted in deep conviction about her purpose and values. She trusted her inner knowing that education was a fundamental right. She trusted her ability to make a difference despite her youth. and she trusted that standing up for what was right was more important than staying safe. Malala wrote, "I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is the story of many girls." Her mental toughness came not from believing she was special or different, but from trusting herself to be a voice for those who couldn't speak, to stand up for what she knew was right regardless of the consequences. This same self-trust is developing within you. You might not be fighting for global change, but you are fighting for your own growth, your own dreams, your own authentic expression. The self-trust you're building through these daily practices is preparing you to stand strong in your convictions, to persist in your purpose, and to remain true to yourself even when the whole world seems to be pulling you in different directions. If you've found value in this journey so far, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, because we're just getting started. The community growing around this content is filled with individuals committed to becoming the strongest, most resilient versions of themselves, and your participation enriches everyone's growth. Day 8 introduces the advanced practice of pressure transformation. Mental toughness isn't just about handling pressure. It's about transforming pressure into power, stress into strength, and tension into triumph. Today, you learn to thrive under pressure rather than merely survive it. Begin day 8 by understanding that pressure is simply concentrated opportunity. Every moment of stress, every challenging situation, every high-stakes scenario is an invitation to demonstrate and develop your mental toughness. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and so is exceptional human character. The morning practice involves pressure preparation. Identify a situation in your life that currently feels stressful or overwhelming. Instead of avoiding or dreading this situation, you're going to mentally rehearse, handling it with complete calm and confidence. Close your eyes and visualize yourself in this situation, breathing deeply, thinking clearly, and responding with wisdom and strength. See yourself not just surviving this pressure, but thriving within it. Notice how your body feels when you're calm under pressure, shoulders relaxed, breathing steady, mind clear. Feel the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can handle whatever comes your way. This mental rehearsal isn't positive thinking. It's performance preparation. Throughout day 8, practice what I call the pressure protocol. When you feel stressed or overwhelmed, instead of trying to eliminate the pressure, consciously choose to work with it. Take 3 deep breaths and remind yourself, this pressure is making me stronger. This challenge is developing my character. This difficulty is preparing me for greater success. Then ask yourself, what is this pressure asking me to develop? What strength is it calling forth? How can I use this energy to fuel my highest performance? This shifts your relationship with pressure from resistance to partnership, from victim to victor, from overwhelmed to empowered. The story of Michael Jordan perfectly illustrates this principle. Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, told he wasn't good enough to play at that level. Instead of being crushed by this rejection, Jordan transformed the pressure into fuel for unprecedented achievement. He used every doubt, every criticism, every challenge as motivation to become better. Jordan famously said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Jordan understood that pressure and failure weren't obstacles to success. They were the very experiences that created success. Jordan developed the ability to perform his best when the stakes were highest, to remain calm when everyone else was panicking, to make clutch plays when the pressure was most intense. This didn't happen by accident. It was the result of consistently choosing to embrace pressure rather than avoid it, to see high-stakes moments as opportunities rather than threats. The evening practice for day 8 involves writing about a time in your life when you performed exceptionally well under pressure. What did that feel like? What thoughts were you thinking? How did you prepare? What strengths emerged that you didn't know you possessed? Study your own moments of excellence under pressure, because they contain the blueprint for future high performance. Day 9 focuses on developing what I call emotional invincibility. Not the absence of emotions, but the sophisticated ability to maintain your center and make wise decisions regardless of what you're feeling. This is perhaps the most advanced aspect of mental toughness, and today you begin mastering this crucial skill. Begin day 9 by understanding that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. They come and go like weather systems, and just as you wouldn't make major life decisions based on whether it's sunny or rainy, you can learn not to make important choices based solely on temporary emotional states. The morning practice involves emotional observation. Throughout the day, notice your emotions with curious detachment. When you feel angry, observe the anger without being consumed by it. When you feel excited, enjoy the excitement without being carried away by it. When you feel afraid, acknowledge the fear without being controlled by it. This practice develops what psychologists call emotional granularity, the ability to distinguish between different emotional states and understand their messages without being overwhelmed by them. When you can observe your emotions rather than being hijacked by them, you maintain the power to choose your responses consciously. The afternoon practice involves emotional integration. Choose one challenging emotion you've been experiencing recently, perhaps frustration, disappointment, anxiety, or anger. Instead of trying to eliminate this emotion, spend time understanding its message. What is this emotion trying to tell you? What need is it highlighting? What action is it requesting? Then, consciously choose how you want to respond to this emotion's message. Maybe frustration is telling you that something important isn't working and needs to be changed. Maybe disappointment is highlighting that you care deeply about something and need to adjust your strategy. Maybe anxiety is asking you to prepare more thoroughly or seek additional support. This integration process transforms emotions from disruptive forces into valuable information sources. When you can extract the wisdom from your emotions without being controlled by their intensity, you develop true emotional mastery. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela, who demonstrated perhaps the most extraordinary emotional invincibility in modern history. After spending 27 years in prison for fighting against apartheid, Mandela emerged not with bitterness, revenge, or hatred, but with an even deeper commitment to reconciliation and justice. How did Mandela maintain such emotional strength during nearly 3 decades of imprisonment? He developed the ability to feel his emotions fully, the anger at injustice, the sadness of separation from family, the frustration of lost years, while never allowing these emotions to corrupt his character or derail his mission. Mandela wrote, "As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." This wasn't emotional suppression, it was emotional mastery. Mandela felt everything but was controlled by nothing. He transformed potential bitterness into compassion, possible revenge into reconciliation, and understandable hatred into healing. This same emotional invincibility is available to you. Whatever emotions you're experiencing, whatever feelings seem overwhelming or persistent, you can develop the ability to work with them skillfully. You can feel everything and be controlled by nothing. You can extract wisdom from every emotional experience while maintaining your power to choose your responses consciously. Day 10 introduces the concept of legacy-driven living. Mental toughness reaches its highest expression when it's connected to something greater than personal comfort or convenience. Today, you connect your growing strength to the legacy you want to leave and the impact you want to have. Begin day 10 by asking yourself, how do I want to be remembered? What impact do I want to have on the people in my life? What contribution do I want to make to the world? Write your answers without censoring or limiting yourself. Your legacy starts with your vision of what's possible. The morning practice involves legacy visualization. Imagine yourself at the end of your life, looking back with complete satisfaction and pride. What did you accomplish? What challenges did you overcome? What example did you set? How did your mental toughness serve not just you, but everyone whose life you touched? This isn't a morbid exercise, it's a clarifying one. When you connect with the legacy you want to leave, temporary difficulties become much easier to handle. Present challenges become stepping stones toward future impact. Current sacrifices become investments in lasting significance. Throughout day 10, make decisions through the lens of legacy. Ask yourself, will this choice contribute to the legacy I want to leave? Does this action align with how I want to be remembered? Am I being the example I want to set? This perspective transforms everyday decisions into character-building opportunities. The afternoon practice involves influence inventory. Identify 5 people in your life who are watching your example. consciously or unconsciously. These might be your children, colleagues, friends, family members, or community members. For each person, write how your growing mental toughness could positively impact their life. When you realize that your personal growth affects others, that your strength gives others permission to be strong, that your courage inspires others to be courageous, you tap into a source of motivation that transcends personal benefit. You begin to understand that developing mental toughness isn't just about you. It's about everyone whose life you have the privilege to influence. Consider the extraordinary legacy of Harriet Tubman, whose mental toughness saved hundreds of lives and changed the course of American history. Born into slavery, Tubman could have accepted her circumstances as unchangeable fate. Instead, she developed such extraordinary mental toughness that she not only escaped slavery herself, but returned 19 times to lead others to freedom through the Underground Railroad. What gave Tubman such incredible mental toughness? She was driven by a legacy vision that transcended personal safety or comfort. She couldn't bear the thought of others remaining in bondage when freedom was possible. Her mental toughness was fueled by love for people she had never met, commitment to future generations, and unwavering faith in the possibility of justice. Tubman famously said, "I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." This wasn't just about logistics, it was about character. Tubman developed the mental toughness to remain calm in life-threatening situations, to make split-second decisions under extreme pressure, and to persist, despite overwhelming odds, because she was connected to a purpose greater than herself. Your legacy might not involve the Underground Railroad, but it will involve the unique contribution only you can make. The mental toughness you're developing will serve not just your dreams, but the dreams of everyone whose life you touch. Your strength will become a gift to others. Your courage will inspire courage. Your resilience will teach resilience. Day 11 deepens your practice with advanced mental conditioning. By now, you've established foundational habits and mindset shifts. Today, we take your mental toughness to the next level through sophisticated conditioning techniques used by elite performers in every field. Begin day 11 by understanding that your mind, like your body, responds to progressive conditioning. Just as athletes gradually increase the intensity of their training to build physical strength, you can systematically increase mental challenges to build psychological resilience. Today introduces what I call controlled adversity training. The morning practice involves choosing one small discomfort or inconvenience you can voluntarily embrace today. This might be taking a cold shower, sitting in meditation for longer than feels comfortable, having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or tackling a challenging project you've been procrastinating on. The key is that this discomfort should be chosen, controlled, and purposeful. You're not seeking suffering for its own sake, but deliberately conditioning yourself to remain calm and focused when things feel uncomfortable. This builds what military psychologists call stress inoculation. Your capacity to perform well under pressure increases through graduated exposure to manageable stressors. Throughout day 11, practice what I call the comfort zone exit protocol. Whenever you notice yourself choosing the easy path, the comfortable option, or the familiar route, pause and ask, is there a slightly more challenging choice available that would help me grow? Then, whenever possible, choose the option that stretches you. This doesn't mean being reckless or making unnecessarily difficult choices. It means consistently choosing growth over comfort, challenge over convenience, development over ease. Each time you make this choice, you're literally rewiring your brain to associate growth with pleasure rather than pain, challenge with opportunity rather than threat. The afternoon practice involves mental toughness scenarios. Spend 15 minutes visualizing yourself handling 3 different challenging scenarios with complete calm and competence. These might be job interviews, difficult conversations, public speaking, confronting a fear, or pursuing a significant goal. In each scenario, see yourself breathing deeply, thinking clearly, and responding with wisdom and strength. Notice how it feels to remain centered when everyone around you is anxious, to think strategically when others are reacting emotionally, to persist when others are giving up. This mental rehearsal creates neural pathways that support actual performance. The story of Ernest Shackleton illustrates advanced mental conditioning in its most extreme form. When Shackleton's ship Endurance became trapped in Antarctic ice, He and his crew faced one of the most challenging survival situations in human history. For nearly 2 years, they were stranded in one of the most hostile environments on Earth. What separated Shackleton from other explorers wasn't just his physical preparation, but his extraordinary mental conditioning. He had trained himself to remain optimistic and decisive under extreme pressure, to maintain morale when circumstances seemed hopeless, and to keep focused on solutions rather than problems. Shackleton understood that his crew's survival depended not just on their physical resources, but on their mental state. He worked constantly to maintain their hope, their unity, and their commitment to survival. He created routines, games, and celebrations even in the midst of life-threatening circumstances. His mental toughness became the foundation for everyone else's resilience. Most remarkably, Shackleton never lost a single crew member during this ordeal. When rescue finally came, every man returned home safely. This wasn't luck. It was the result of Shackleton's extraordinary mental conditioning and his ability to inspire the same mental toughness in others. The evening practice for day 11 involves creating what I call your mental toughness trigger. Choose a simple physical gesture, perhaps touching your thumb to your index finger, placing your hand over your heart, or taking 3 deep breaths. That will serve as your instant access point to mental toughness. Practice this gesture while recalling moments from the past 11 days when you demonstrated strength, courage, or resilience. Create a strong association between this physical trigger and your most empowered mental state. In challenging moments going forward, this trigger will instantly reconnect you with your mental toughness resources. Day 12 focuses on mastery through service. True mental toughness finds its highest expression not in personal achievement alone, but in using your strength to serve others and contribute to something greater than yourself. Today, you discover how service amplifies and sustains mental toughness. Begin day 12 by understanding that when your mental toughness serves only yourself, it has limited power and sustainability. But when your strength serves others, when your resilience becomes a resource for those around you, when your courage inspires courage in others, you tap into an unlimited source of motivation and energy. The morning practice involves identifying 3 ways you can use your growing mental toughness to serve others today. This might be offering encouragement to someone facing challenges, volunteering for a cause you believe in, mentoring someone who could benefit from your experience, or simply being a calm, positive presence in stressful situations. Service-oriented mental toughness is different from self-centered strength. It's not about proving how tough you are or demonstrating your superiority. It's about becoming strong enough to lift others, resilient enough to offer stability, and wise enough to guide those who are still developing their own inner resources. Throughout day 12, practice empowered generosity. Look for opportunities to share your strength, wisdom, and encouragement with others. When someone is struggling, resist the urge to fix their problems or offer unsolicited advice. Instead, share your own experiences with developing mental toughness, offer genuine encouragement, and model the calm confidence you've been cultivating. This practice serves a dual purpose. It helps others while simultaneously reinforcing your own mental toughness. When you share strength, you become stronger. When you offer encouragement, you become more encouraged. When you demonstrate resilience, you become more resilient. Service is both an expression of mental toughness and a method for developing more of it. The afternoon practice involves legacy action. Choose one specific action you can take today that will have a positive impact beyond your immediate circumstances. This might be writing an encouraging letter to someone, making a donation to a worthy cause, volunteering your time for community service, or teaching someone a skill you've mastered. The key is connecting your daily actions to your larger legacy vision. When you consistently take actions that serve something greater than immediate self-interest, you develop what I call transcendent toughness, mental strength that draws from purposes larger than personal comfort or convenience. Consider the remarkable example of Viktor Frankl, whose mental toughness was forged and expressed through the most extreme adversity imaginable. As a Holocaust survivor who spent 3 years in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl could have emerged broken, bitter, and defeated. Instead, he used his experience to develop profound insights about human resilience and created therapeutic approaches that have helped millions of people find meaning in suffering. Frankl discovered that mental toughness isn't primarily about personal survival or achievement. It's about finding meaning and purpose even in the most difficult circumstances. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." But Frankl didn't stop with personal survival. He spent the rest of his life serving others through his therapeutic work, his writing, and his teaching. His mental toughness found its highest expression not in what he endured, but in how he used his experience to help others find meaning, hope, and resilience in their own challenges. Frankl understood that the ultimate test of mental toughness isn't whether you can handle adversity for yourself, but whether you can transform your experience of adversity into service for others. This transformation from victim to victor to helper is the highest evolution of human strength. Your own journey with mental toughness will ultimately be measured not just by what you achieve or overcome, but by how you use your strength to serve others. The resilience you're developing, the courage you're cultivating, the wisdom you're gaining, these become gifts you can offer to everyone whose life you touch. Day 13 introduces the concept of integrated excellence, the sophisticated ability to maintain mental toughness across all areas of your life simultaneously. Many people can be tough in one domain while remaining weak in others. Today, you learn to apply your mental toughness universally and consistently. Begin day 13 by conducting a life domain assessment. Examine 7 key areas of your life: physical health, mental, emotional well-being, relationships, career, purpose, finances, personal growth, and contribution, service. For each domain, honestly assess your current level of mental toughness on a scale of 1 to 10. Where are you already strong? Where do you tend to give up easily? Where do you avoid challenges? Where do you make excuses? This assessment isn't meant to judge yourself harshly, but to identify where your mental toughness development can have the greatest impact. The morning practice involves choosing the life domain where you scored lowest and committing to one specific action today that demonstrates mental toughness in that area. If relationships are your weak spot, have a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. If physical health challenges you, commit to exercising even when you don't feel like it. If finances stress you out, take one concrete action toward improving your financial situation. The key principle is that mental toughness in one area of life strengthens mental toughness in all areas. When you demonstrate discipline in your physical health, you build willpower reserves that serve your career goals. When you show courage in relationships, you develop confidence that supports your personal growth. Mental toughness is a transferable skill that compounds across life domains. Throughout day 13, practice what I call cross-domain reinforcement. Each time you demonstrate mental toughness in one area, consciously recognize how this strengthens your ability to be tough in other areas. Notice the connections between different forms of strength, different applications of resilience, different expressions of courage. The afternoon practice involves creating your integrated excellence vision. Write a detailed description of what your life would look like if you maintained consistent mental toughness across all 7 life domains. How would you handle your health? How would you show up in relationships? How would you approach your work? How would you manage your finances? How would you pursue growth? How would you serve others? This vision becomes your North Star, guiding your decisions and actions across all areas of life. When you have a clear picture of integrated excellence, temporary setbacks in one area don't derail your overall progress, and success in one domain motivates excellence in others. The story of Leonardo da Vinci exemplifies integrated excellence powered by mental toughness. Da Vinci didn't just excel in one area. He demonstrated extraordinary mental toughness across multiple domains simultaneously. He was a master artist, inventor, scientist, engineer, mathematician, anatomist, and philosopher. What enabled Da Vinci to maintain such consistent excellence across so many different fields? He developed what we would now call integrated mental toughness, the ability to approach every challenge with the same curiosity, persistence, and commitment to excellence. Whether he was painting the Mona Lisa, designing flying machines, or studying human anatomy, Da Vinci brought the same mental disciplines to bear. Da Vinci understood that excellence in one area supported excellence in all areas. His artistic training and observation enhanced his scientific investigations. His engineering knowledge informed his artistic compositions. His anatomical studies improved both his art and his understanding of mechanics. His mental toughness created a synergistic effect across all his endeavors. Most importantly, Da Vinci maintained his curiosity and commitment to growth throughout his entire life. He never stopped learning, never stopped experimenting, never stopped pushing the boundaries of what was possible. His mental toughness wasn't just about handling challenges. It was about consistently choosing growth over comfort, exploration over security, excellence over mediocrity. This same integrated approach to mental toughness is available to you. You don't have to compartmentalize your strength or limit your growth to specific areas of life. The mental toughness you're developing can enhance every aspect of your existence, creating a life of consistent excellence, continuous growth, and extraordinary contribution. As we approach the final day of this transformation, I want to remind you that subscribing to this channel means joining a community of individuals committed to this same journey of growth and excellence. The conversations, insights, and mutual support available in this community can accelerate and sustain your development long beyond these 14 days. Day 14 represents both the culmination of your initial transformation and the beginning of your lifelong journey with mental toughness. Today, you integrate everything you've learned and create a sustainable system for continued growth and development. Begin day 14 by conducting a comprehensive review of your journey. Read through your journal entries from the past 13 days. Notice the patterns of growth, the breakthrough moments, the challenges overcome, and the insights gained. Recognize how much you've already changed in less than 2 weeks. The morning practice involves creating what I call your mental toughness constitution, a personal document that captures your core principles, commitments, and practices related to mental strength. Include your definition of mental toughness, your key insights from this journey, your non-negotiable daily practices, and your vision for continued growth. This constitution becomes your reference point during challenging times, your reminder of who you're becoming, and your commitment to consistent practice. Like the founding fathers who created a constitution to guide a nation, you're creating a personal constitution to guide your continued development. Throughout day 14, practice what I call mastery integration. In each interaction, each decision, each challenge that arises, consciously apply the mental toughness principles you've learned. Notice how your responses have changed from 14 days ago. Observe your increased capacity for calm under pressure, clear thinking in chaos, and persistent action despite obstacles. The afternoon practice involves designing your long-term development plan. Mental toughness isn't a destination you reach, but a capacity you continuously develop. Identify specific areas where you want to continue growing, advanced practices you want to explore, and accountability systems that will support your ongoing development. Consider scheduling monthly reviews of your mental toughness development, quarterly challenges that stretch your comfort zone, and annual visioning sessions that connect your growing strength to your evolving purpose and contribution. Make your mental toughness development as systematic and intentional as any other important area of your life. The story that best captures the essence of lifelong mental toughness development is that of Muhammad Ali. Ali didn't just demonstrate mental toughness in the boxing ring. He embodied it throughout his entire life, constantly evolving and applying his strength to new challenges and purposes. Early in his career, Ali's mental toughness was focused on athletic achievement. He developed the psychological strategies, the unwavering self-belief, and the ability to perform under pressure that made him a boxing legend. But Ali's mental toughness continued to evolve throughout his life. When Ali converted to Islam and changed his name from Cassius Clay, he demonstrated the mental toughness to transform his identity despite public criticism and professional consequences. When he refused to be inducted into the military during the Vietnam War, he showed the mental toughness to sacrifice his career peak for his principles, saying, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong." Later, when Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, he demonstrated yet another evolution of mental toughness, the strength to face physical decline with dignity, grace, and continued service to others. Even as his body weakened, his spirit remained strong, his commitment to helping others never wavered, and his example continued to inspire millions. Ali's life illustrates that mental toughness isn't static. It grows, evolves, and adapts to life's changing challenges and opportunities. The mental toughness that serves you in your 20s will evolve to serve you differently in your 40s, 60s, and beyond. The key is maintaining your commitment to growth, your willingness to face new challenges, and your dedication to using your strength in service of your highest values. As we conclude these 14 days together, it's important to understand that you haven't just learned techniques or strategies. You've begun a fundamental transformation in how you relate to challenges, how you see yourself, and how you approach life itself. The practices you've learned will continue to serve you, but more importantly, you've developed the foundation for a lifetime of continued growth and strength. The mental toughness you've cultivated isn't just about handling difficult situations. It's about thriving in uncertainty, finding opportunity in adversity, and maintaining your commitment to growth and service regardless of external circumstances. You've developed the ability to be your own source of strength, validation, and motivation. Remember that mental toughness isn't about becoming emotionally numb or developing a hard exterior that keeps the world at bay. True mental toughness allows you to feel deeply while thinking clearly, to be vulnerable while remaining strong, to care intensely while staying centered. You've learned to be simultaneously tough and tender, strong and flexible, determined and adaptable. The journey you've completed is just the beginning. Mental toughness is like physical fitness. It requires consistent practice to maintain and continued challenge to improve. The daily practices you've established, the mindset shifts you've made, and the new neural pathways you've created will continue to serve you, but only if you continue to engage with them actively. I encourage you to share your experience with this 14-day transformation. Tell others about the changes you've noticed, the strength you've developed, and the confidence you've gained. Your example gives others permission to begin their own journey with mental toughness, and sharing your growth reinforces your own development. Consider finding an accountability partner or mentor who can support your continued growth. Join communities of individuals committed to personal development and mental strength. Continue reading, learning, and exploring new ways to develop your resilience and inner power. If this content has served your growth, subscribing to this channel ensures you'll continue receiving insights and strategies that support your ongoing development. Most importantly, remember that the goal of developing mental toughness isn't to impress others or prove your strength. It's to become the person capable of living your most authentic, purposeful, and impactful life. The strength you've developed serves your dreams, but it also serves everyone whose life you touch. You are no longer the person you were 14 days ago. You've proven to yourself that you can change, grow, and become stronger. You've demonstrated that you can face challenges with courage, persist through difficulties with determination, and maintain your commitment to growth despite obstacles. The identity shifts you've made during this transformation are profound. You now see yourself as someone who is mentally tough, emotionally resilient, and capable of extraordinary achievement. You understand that obstacles are opportunities, that challenges develop character, and that your response to adversity determines your destiny. You've learned to trust yourself completely, to trust your ability to handle whatever comes, to learn from every experience, and to find a way forward regardless of circumstances. This self-trust is the foundation of all mental toughness and the source of authentic confidence and personal power. The practices you've mastered, from morning declarations to evening reflections, from fear transformation to pressure optimization, from emotional mastery to strategic thinking. These are not just temporary techniques, but permanent additions to your personal development toolkit. They will serve you in every area of life, in every season of growth, and in every challenge you face. As you continue forward, remember that mental toughness is ultimately about choice. Every day, you choose between strength and weakness, growth and stagnation, courage and fear. The transformation you've experienced has given you the tools to make empowering choices consistently, but the choice to use these tools remains yours. Choose to see every challenge as an opportunity to demonstrate your mental toughness. Choose to view every setback as a setup for a comeback. Choose to transform every obstacle into a stepping stone toward your dreams. Choose to use your strength, not just for personal achievement, but for service to others. Your journey with mental toughness will continue to evolve as you face new challenges, pursue bigger dreams, and discover deeper purposes. The foundation you've built during these 14 days will support whatever you choose to build upon it. The strength you've developed will grow as you continue to challenge yourself and serve others. You now possess the mental toughness to pursue any dream, overcome any obstacle, and create any life you truly desire. But more than that, you have the character to handle success with humility, to use your strength for good, and to inspire others through your example. The world needs individuals with authentic mental toughness, people who can remain calm in chaos, think clearly under pressure, and persist when others give up. The world needs people who can face uncertainty with confidence, transform challenges into opportunities, and maintain hope when circumstances seem hopeless. You are becoming one of these individuals. Your growing mental toughness is not just a personal asset, but a gift to everyone whose life intersects with yours. Your strength gives others permission to be strong. Your resilience inspires resilience in others. Your commitment to growth encourages others to commit to their own development. As we close this 14-day journey together, I want you to make a commitment to yourself and to the person you're becoming. Commit to continuing the practices that have served your growth. Commit to facing new challenges with the courage and confidence you've developed. Commit to using your strength in service of your highest values and deepest purposes. Commit to being an example of what's possible when someone decides to develop genuine mental toughness. Show others through your actions, your decisions, and your responses to challenges that it's possible to be strong without being hard, tough without being insensitive, and resilient without being rigid. The transformation you've experienced is real, but it's also just the beginning. The mental toughness you've developed will continue to grow as you apply it to new challenges and opportunities. The person you've become will continue to evolve as you pursue bigger dreams and serve greater purposes. You are no longer someone who hopes they can handle challenges. You are someone who knows they can. You are no longer someone who dreams of being mentally tough. You are someone who embodies mental toughness. You are no longer someone preparing for an extraordinary life. You are someone living it. Take this strength into the world. Use it to achieve your dreams, serve others, and create positive change. Let your mental toughness be a force for good, a source of inspiration, and a foundation for continuous growth and contribution. The journey continues, but you are no longer the same person who began it 14 days ago. You are stronger, wiser, more resilient, and more capable than you were before. You have proven to yourself that transformation is possible, that strength can be developed, and that you have the power to become whoever you choose to be. Welcome to the ranks of the mentally tough. Welcome to a life of courage, resilience, and unstoppable determination. Welcome to the extraordinary existence that awaits those brave enough to develop authentic inner strength and wise enough to use it in service of their highest possibilities. Your mental toughness journey has begun, and the best is yet to come. If this transformation has impacted your life, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and share your experience with others who are ready to begin their own journey toward mental toughness and personal excellence. Together, we create a community of strength, a network of resilience, and a force for positive change in the world. The person you've become is just a glimpse of who you're still becoming. Your mental toughness will continue to evolve, deepen, and strengthen as you face new challenges with the tools and insights you've gained. The foundation is built, the practices are established, and the transformation has begun. Now go forth and live with the mental toughness of a champion, the heart of a servant, and the vision of someone who knows that the best days are always ahead. Your extraordinary life awaits, and you now possess the mental strength to claim it completely. Champions, your mind has been forged a little stronger today, but the real test isn't what you learned, it's what you do with it. Take action, dominate your day, and remember, we're not just building better thoughts, we're forging unstoppable lives. The forge doesn't stop, and neither do you. If this episode hit you where it counts, subscribe to Mental Forge Academy and join the brotherhood of champions who refuse to settle for ordinary. Go transform, strike while the mind is hot,